Jackie, I love your earrings.
I know, I love your shoes and how they match your ring.
Oh, thanks. I did that on purpose. I like how the sparkles in your earrings match the sparkles on your shirt.
We're supposed to be doing sports night here.
Yeah? Who does he think he is? Rude. The highly ranked women's soccer team played for the conference title at Loris.
Volleyball also battled the IIAC tournament. They faced a tough Cornell team at home.
And the football team looked to destroy Loris in Dubuque. You're watching Sports Night.
On Warburg's second possession of the game, Danny Seager hurls it 25 yards to Donald Miller.
Welcome to the studio. We've got a lot to get to tonight as it's conference tournament time in the IIAC.
That's right, Shelby. Both soccer teams and the volleyball team faced their tough tests on their conference tournaments, and the football team hit the road to Dubuque.
So without further ado, the 9th-ranked women's soccer team opened up the Iowa Conference tournament with a semifinal game on Wednesday at home versus Simpson. The Storm gave the Knights a tough battle in their regular season matchup, with Warburg winning a close 2-1 overtime game. Wednesday, though, was much different. Warburg wasted no time getting on the board as the Knights took a 4-0 lead just 33 minutes into the game, including 2 goals by Chelsea Fry in the first half. Later in the first, Taylor Shaw would score her first goal of the season off of a corner kick to give the Knights a 5-0 lead at halftime. Taylor Verme added a late goal amongst a scrum in front of the net to make the final tally 6-0. Katie Went recorded 4 assists, which ties her for a school single-game record. Fry's 2 goals gave her a team-leading 16 on the season. Now with that win, the Knights advanced to the conference championship game against the Loris Dewhawks. I headed to Dubuque for that game, so let's roll those highlights. Coming into the tournament, the Knights were the number 2 seed and the Dewhawks were the top seed. In the first half, it was uneventful as neither team would find the back of the net goose eggs on the scoreboard at halftime. Just 4 minutes into the second half, the Knights commit a foul, and Jessica Kern's penalty kick attempt is good, putting the Dewhawks on the scoreboard 1-0. Danielle Juvovic netted Loris' second goal at 56 minutes as she headed in a free kick, 2-0 Dewhawks. Katie Went brings a spark of hope to the Knights as she laces one in the back of the net at 62 minutes. Unfortunately, that would be the Knights' lone goal. Orange and Black fall 2-1. Let's hear from Coach.
Well, it's disappointing. Definitely wanted to come out tonight with the W. Girls played with all their heart, though. There's, again, not a lot I could ask more of them. Just the luck didn't quite fall our way tonight.
Now, with that win, the Dewhawks received the automatic qualifier to the NCAA tournament.
The Warburg men's soccer team's thrilling first-round victory over Dubuque left the team with another challenge. They had to travel to Decorah to take on top-seeded Luther in the semifinals of the IIAC tournament. Luther came into the game with number 22 overall ranking in the nation. The Norse jumped ahead on a free kick from the top of the box in the 28th minute. The score would remain that way until 45 seconds remained in the game. Luther tacked on an insurance goal and set the Knights home in a defeat by a final of 2-0. With a sub-500 record, there will be no NCAA tournament for the Knights this year. Despite the disappointing season, the Knights should be back strong next year as they graduate only 2 members of this year's team, Nate Gottsacker and Matt Cunard.
Now you may be wondering if the women's soccer team made the NCAA tournament despite failing to secure the Iowa Conference's automatic bid. The Knights did indeed make the tournament on the strength of their number 9 ranking in the country. Even better, they will host a regional for the first and second rounds. Warburg's first match will be against Principia, which went 16-13-1 on the year and qualified for the NCAAs by winning the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference.
That's all for this block of Sports Night, but have no fear, we'll be back.
Still to come, find out if the football team was able to improve its conference record at Loris.
And see if volleyball team secured an automatic qualifying spot to the NCAA tournament. This is Sports Night. Welcome back to Sports Night. The football team headed to the home of the Loris Dewhawks last Saturday for a conference matchup. My co-host Shelby traveled to Dubuque for the action.
On Wartburg's second possession of the game, Danny Stiefel hurls it 25 yards to Donald Miller. On the very next play, Connor Dahlstrom punches it in from 2 yards out. Knights up 7-0. Here, Loris's punt is blocked by Garrett McGrane, and Andrew Putz scoops it up and takes it to the house from 12 yards out. Good Guys lead 14-0. At the start of the second quarter, Kurt Ruska gets to the 8-yard line after he connects with Stiefel's 37-yard pass. The Knights find some bad luck here. Stiefel and Dahlstrom collide, causing a fumble, and Loris is going to recover it. And the series of unfortunate events will continue for the Knights here as Dahlstrom loses it and the Dewhawks come up with the ball. Right before halftime, Loris's quarterback Sean Brennan finds Nate Even, who drops the ball, turns around, picks it up, and continues running like that was all planned. And with 2 seconds left, Brennan's touchdown pass is complete to Andy Brown. Knights go into halftime up by a touchdown. Stiefel continues the passing game in the second half with a beautiful 29-yard completion to Levi Helbling here. Williams then puts 3 points on the board for Wartburg here with a 22-yard field goal.
Get yourselves ready in the right mindset. Okay, do things differently.
At the end of the third, Stiefel's 17-yard pass to Ruska is good. Knights up 17-7 at the beginning of the fourth. Reese Thompson is going to find some action here, rushing the ball for 20 yards. Then Williams is going to add 6 more points for the Knights with back-to-back field goals, 23 and 19 yards respectively. Loris gives the Knights yet another end-of-game scare here with another Brennan to Brown touchdown, but luckily Wartburg hangs on to win this one 23-14.
Marcus Williams had a career-high 3 field goals on the days. Reese Thompson led the Knights on the ground with his 93 yards on 22 carries. To hear post-game interviews from all your favorite Knights, check out the SportsKnight page on Facebook. Wartburg travels to Decorah this Saturday for their final regular season game against rival Luther Norse. Kickoff is set for noon.
After high school, most athletes know where they want to attend college and what sport they want to pursue. However, this week I sat down with one football player who has changed his mind a few times throughout his college career in this week's Senior Spotlight.
For senior football player Garrett McGrane, Wartburg has not always been his home, and football has not always been his preferred sport.
Well, my first year, I went to DMAC in Des Moines, and I played basketball there. You know, I really love football, and that's kind of one of the reasons I transferred, because, you know, you can go play basketball whenever you want, but you really can't strap on pads and play.
Not only did McGrane change schools and sports, he also changed positions.
When I came here, they said I was either going to be a receiver or a safety, and I started at receiver for like a week or two, and I wasn't too smart with the play calling, so they moved me to safety.
In his first year, he was a little rough in terms of his footwork and his technique, and early on, you know, he was a guy that we were just trying to see if he could play defense, and now he's become one of our best players on defense.
Being successful on defense would be an understatement when describing McGrane. In his 2 seasons playing varsity, he has 9 interceptions, including 4 pick sixes, 3 blocked punts, and 151 tackles.
The big play-making ability that he has is something that you don't always find in guys. You can only coach a guy to do so much, and at some point he's got to be able to make those type of plays, and that's something that Garrett has.
I'm always out there trying to make a big play, and sometimes it costs me, sometimes it doesn't.
And sometimes Garrett can get a little emotional.
If you ask any of my teammates, they'd definitely say I'm a hothead out there.
There's times when I have to get on the headphones with Garrett during the game, be like, hey, you need to calm down. So that's kind of the thing about Garrett is having that edge and that toughness brings something to the table you don't have from everybody. But at the same time, there's certain points where you got to try and, you know, reel them in a little bit and keep them under control.
Being a hothead is not the only thing McGrane and Coach Winter agree on. One memory of Garrett stands out to both of them.
Last year when we beat Central,
last year over at Central.
Even in high school, you know, I won a state championship, but honestly, like, that memory just compares, it's right up there.
That day was one of my most proud days as a coach, just being able to beat Central on their field, winning the Iowa Conference Championship.
Even though Garrett McGrane is a senior, his time here at Wartburg might not be over. Since he started playing football his sophomore year, he still has 1 year of eligibility.
Mostly everyone I know wants me to come back, especially the coaches.
We'll see if he'll utilize that. If he did, that'd make me very happy. It'd make my job a lot easier.
Since I'm going to grad school, I have to go to school for 3 more years, so that's pretty much the only thing that's holding me back from staying here.
And if he doesn't return next year?
It'll be a big deal in our back end. Just the leadership he's shown, the physical play that we get from him, the toughness. When he's done with his time here, he's going to leave a big hole. It'll be tough when he leaves. He's one of those guys that I feel like every week I can count on to be able to go out there and play. And you don't always have that.
If this is his final season as a Knight, McGrane knows he will take away much more than simply playing football.
Since I came here, you know, I don't regret anything. I love football and I love playing for Wartburg. Just the environment, you know, the family and friendships that I've made here. It's just all been a great experience, and I think I'll never, you know, live a day without thinking about either friends I've made here or just lessons I've learned here.
Now, if McGrane were to get one more pick six, it would bring his total to 5, which would tie the NCAA record for most touchdowns scored on interception returns in a career for any division.
The volleyball team, with its 7-1 record and second-place finish in the conference during regular season, got the advantage of hosting Cornell in the tournament semifinals. The team lost in 5 to the Rams at mid-season tournament, but defeated them in just 3 sets in their conference matchup. Let's head up to Levick to see how they fared. Wartburg would lose the first set 25-22, but they would rally in the second set as Ramey Seek hits the block on Cornell. This time Seek sets it to Monique Davidson, and she would pound the kill to the hardwood. That would give the Knights a 25-20 game 2 to win, and it's all at square 1. Moving to game 3, Cornell jumps on top as Caitlin Kuba taps it to the floor, and Cornell takes the early game 3 lead. Wartburg tries to respond, but Maddie Forsythe's attempt is stuffed at the net by Cornell's Kathleen O'Connor, and Cornell grabs the momentum away from the Knights. Wartburg had no answer for O'Connor all match, and she finishes game 3 with a kill. Cornell takes a 2-1 lead, and the Knights have their backs to the wall heading into game 4. But game 4 starts, and the Knights look good as Ramey Seek gets tricky for the kill, and Wartburg leads 5-3. Cornell would go on to win the conference tournament. They secured the automatic bid, and the Knights would miss out on the postseason. The season would not go without its high points, however. Wartburg would have a school record 4 players named the All-Conference team. Both Ramey and Britland Seek made the first team, while Kelly Neiman and freshman Bailey Wilson were listed on the second team.
Up next on Sports Night, find out what soccer senior Katie Went has to say about the season that was and the NCAA tournament that will be. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Sports Night. Joining me in the locker room tonight is senior soccer standout Katie Went. Thanks for being here, Katie.
You're welcome.
Okay, so first question, overall thoughts of the season?
The season has been really special. At the beginning, we kind of set the goal that we wanted to have a memorable season and really be the best team that the Wartburg soccer program has ever seen. So we've been working hard to achieve that goal all year, and we've accomplished some really great things, and we're excited for the tournament.
This being your senior year, how did it meet your expectations?
After we got the taste of nationals last year, we really were just eager to get back there, and we lost a tough game against Loris, so we didn't get the automatic bid, but we felt really confident based off of what we had done all season that we would get an at-large.
Okay, prior to the game on Saturday, how did you guys react when you found out you had to play at Loris even though you guys had the better record?
We would have liked to have played at home. There's a big difference in soccer when you're used to playing on grass and then you have to transition and play on turf. It's much quicker, and sometimes your touch isn't quite right on the ball. So we knew it would be a difficult environment to go into, but at the same time we kind of tried to put that aside and just focus on playing our game.
What are your goals for the NCAA tournament coming up this week?
We're super excited that we get to host. That was a really nice surprise. We weren't expecting that. So we're just pumped that we can host the first 2 rounds of the national tournament and hopefully win both those games and move on.
What were your feelings today? We got to Katie Joe posted the video on Go Knights of your guys' reaction. Explain that moment when you were all in the room together.
Yeah, it was just really cool to watch the live feed of the pairings, and when it came out that we were hosting, it was kind of just sheer joy, and everyone started screaming. So your typical reaction, I would say.
That's awesome. What's your favorite memory of Wartburg soccer?
So far, my favorite memory is probably making the national tournament last year and winning our first round game. But hopefully my favorite memory will still be to come if we can move past the stage we got to last year this season.
What are your plans for when the soccer season's over?
It's going to be really hard for me when the soccer season's over, so I try not to think about it too much, but I'm actually going to Wartburg West next semester, so it'll be nice to kind of get away after the sadness of the season ending.
Who are some of the players you can relate to most on the team?
Definitely my senior class. We've been through so much these past 4 years, and we've just really come together, and we respect each other and protect each other, and we want to go out together on a good note.
How do you think Coach Pins has done in her first season as a coach?
Coach Pins has had an incredible first season. I know she was super excited to come back to Wartburg after her career here as a player and as an assistant coach early. So she's just really done a great job of bringing our team together and leading us through the difficult times and the awesome times too. So we're super excited for the rest of her career here.
Right. Now, what are you going to miss most about playing soccer at Wartburg?
I'm definitely going to miss the team most. It's really the relationships that you form when you play that are the most important thing over the course of your career. So it'll be tough to move on, but I'll have a lot of good memories to take with me.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Katie.
You're welcome.
Coming up in the next block in Sports Night, we will go inside the numbers with Fight Night at Joe's Nighthawk. Stay tuned.
Every year, the wrestling season in Northeast Iowa kicks off at Joe's Nighthawk. SportsKnight's Ben Hoppenworth caught up with head wrestling coach Jim Miller to pin down an answer about what Fight Night is really all about.
Get off your belly. I'm going to have to warn you.
It might be like, I don't know, Indiana and swimming or football in Texas or something, but in Iowa, wrestling's pretty prominent.
Wrestling has always been a great tradition in Iowa. We're only a few weeks away from the start of the season, which means it's time for the wrestling event of the year, Fight Night. More than 300 grapplers, coaches, and fans will pack the floor at Joe's Nighthawk on November 16th for a night that Coach Jim Miller says can't be beat.
Wartburg's kind of been the host for Fight Night, and it's just kind of grown within the area. That's one of the most popular and probably the best preseason national kickoff in the nation.
Really think we got some JV
It's a situation where fans want information, and around here, it's pretty crazy.
Numerous college coaches, including University of Iowa head coach Tom Brands and Iowa State head coach Kevin Jackson, will be in attendance, as well as the likes of legendary Iowa wrestler Dan Gable, making this year's Fight Night a night to remember.
There's numerous Olympic gold medalists. I mean, there's world champions. It's pretty cool just to be hanging around with the guys that have achieved the highest in the sport.
Thanks to the ferocity seen on the mats, you might expect there to be a lot of bad blood at Fight Night. But for one night only, if only for just a couple of hours, the coaches get to be friends and fans.
We're not competing against each other. We're actually relaxed, having fun with the crowd, having fun with each other, kidding each other. Sometimes it gets emotional, sometimes it does get intense, but there's also a lot of humor involved, and the crowd loves that.
You know, I'll send him a Christmas card and I'll get one in return.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Fight Night has something for everyone, from coaches to players to the casual fan.
Good group of everybody wants to talk wrestling, and not only do the coaches talk about their teams, there's going to be questions from the crowd, there's pictures, autographs, coaches bring their schedules, their posters. It's a great night for wrestling.
Going inside the numbers, I'm Ben Hoppenworth.
I'm trying to help Tom out because you don't want him cheering for these guys.
When we come back to Sports Night, we'll reveal who our athlete of the week is. Stay tuned to Channel 8. Welcome back to Sportsnet. A few notes on what's to come next, as the football team will travel to Decorah to face bitter rival Luther. The Knights still have a possible playoff spot to play for, so they'll have their postseason hopes on the line come Saturday. The Norse are out of the conference title and playoff hunt. But that's nothing new to them, and they'll play for pride as they look to spoil Wartburg's seasons. Both men's and women's cross-country teams will run in their conference deciding race, and the women will be heavy favorites to secure another conference crown.
It's now time to reveal who the Sports Night Athlete of the Week is. This week, our Athlete of the Week is senior defensive back David Brooks. Brooks played the best game of his career Saturday at Loris as he made 14 tackles, 10 of them solo. He also added a sack. Brooks will look to wreak more havoc from his safety position in what could be his final collegiate game this Saturday. Now, Jackie, the football team is heading to Loris on Luther on Saturday. Should be a pretty good game. Luther's a huge rival, and they will wait. Hopefully they'll win at Luther to see if they get an at-large bid for the tournament. Again, the volleyball team lost, so they aren't going to the tournament, but the women's soccer team is heading to the NCAA tournament this Friday. The game is set for 5:30 p.m.
Cross-country this weekend.
And cross-country regionals this weekend. So that's all the time we have for Sports Night tonight. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage of volleyball and soccer this season.
With winter sports starting, Sports Night will be transitioning as well into coverage of basketball and wrestling. Thanks for joining us.